or less fast. If you're joining, thank you so much for joining. Just to get started, for those of you, if this is your first time joining me for a live, my name is Daniel, and I've been in talent acquisition and recruiting for more than 6 years. And I'm going to tell you 4 things today. 4. So please, you're going to have to write these things down because this is important. 1 is I'm going to tell you about your resume, right? What your resume is all about and what your resume is not about. Okay. Your resume is the entry point. It gets you into an interview. If your resume is not positioned correctly, if it does not show the hiring manager what they want to see, no one will interview you. I don't care how many times you submit your resume to a hiring manager, they're not going to interview you if your resume does not show them what they want to see. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you exactly what they want to see the moment they open your resume. Now, you can take this advice if you want to or not. If you don't show them what they want to see, I can tell you are going to be reaching back out or trying to make those changes down the line. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why I know this, because as a recruiter, when I was submitting your resume, it was happening to me, right? They were rejecting your resume the way I was submitting your resume, the way that you were sending it to me. And I didn't understand why, so I'm going to tell you about that. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is the best way to search for jobs. There are so many people who think the job market is tough. They think that there aren't any jobs that are available. And I'm going to show you that there are like tens of thousands of jobs right now that you can apply to that will increase your chances for getting an interview and getting hired in less than 30 days. Making more money than you're currently making now or that you've ever made before on your jobs. Okay, I'm going to explain that to you. I'm going to show it to you. Happens all the time with my clients, right? The third thing I'm going to talk to you about is job interviewing. So you can have a great resume, you can find a lot of jobs, but if you get the job interview, right, and you blow it in the interview, you're not going to get an offer. So what is the job interview really all about? Why do the hiring managers ask the questions they ask? And how should you be answering them? And why should you answer them that way? I'm going to tell you why. Okay? And then I'm going to tell you how to easily, with one email, I'm going to show you how to easily get $2,000 to $10,000 more from every written job offer you get by sending one email. So make sure you stick around to the end. Thank you so much for all of the hearts. First goal is 5,000 likes. So tap the screen 50 times. Tap the screen until you see us get to 5,000 likes. All we're doing is we're trying to tell the algorithm we're on and we're getting attention, and they're going to send as many people over here as possible. I'm going to do this in 60 minutes. This is not going to be an all-day live. I'm going to do this recording in 60 minutes, okay? So I want you to get yourself ready. At the end, after I tell you how to get $2,000 to $10,000 more from every offer, I am going to open it up for questions and answers, so you can ask me any question you want in the comment, okay? If you are not comfortable asking me a question in the comment or want to know about anything that I do, you can leave me a DM, send me an email or a text message. My email address is right here. It is daniel@dscds.com. It's daniel@dscds.com. daniel@dscds.com. That's my email. And so to get started, if you're someone who wants me to review your for free because you think that something's wrong with your resume or you're not getting the attention that you want to get, I only take 100 resume reviews for free a day. 100 resume reviews for free each day. So the first 100 people who email me, I'll be more than happy to take a look at your resume and go from there. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about resumes. All right, I want to talk about your resume. All right, what is it all about? You know, why is it you're submitting your resume to a hiring manager or to a job, right? You're completing an application. It asks you to submit your resume. You submit your resume and no one calls you back. Why is that happening, right? Well, I'm going to tell you why that is happening, and I'm going to tell you how to fix it. You have to change it if that's happening to you, okay? I have clients who are on my fast track program this has been happening to for a long time. And what I've done is help them to fix it. I'm going to talk to you about how to fix it. So, what is the resume all about? Okay. Now, a lot of people think the resume is simply a document that shows hiring managers and recruiters their work history, education experience, and background, right? So that's what you think it is, right? And I'm a recruiter. I've seen more than 500,000 resumes in my career. Okay, you think that the only purpose of your resume is to show hiring managers your previous education, work history, and experience, right? And then what you hope is when they look at your resume, they are going to interpret it the way you want them to interpret it. They're not. They're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Your resume is more than just a document that contains your skill, experience, education, background. It's more than that. And all of these people who are on the internet and nobody's telling you this. They're not sharing with you the truth about why no one's calling you back. To tell you, your resume is not just a document that shows your experience, education, and background. I tell people in 2026, you got to think differently about your resume. It's a marketing document. Okay? It's you are when you are applying the jobs, you are doing a marketing campaign. Don't think about it like I'm filling out applications. You got to change that. Okay? It's more than that. You are marketing yourself. Hiring managers are looking for a solution to their problem. They're looking for a fix. Okay? Now, I'm going to use this example. I've never used this example before. But if you need something and you go to Amazon, right? And you are looking for a specific, I don't know, a broom or whatever, kind of whatever. You go through and you type in broom in Amazon and all these brooms come up. You start looking at all of these brooms. And what you look at is you look at the description to help you understand all the things this broom can do for you. That's what you do, right? That's how you look at it. I do the same thing. We all do it. Whenever I purchase something on Amazon, I'm looking for something that is going to fit what I need, right? And you don't pick the first thing that comes up. You don't pick a something that says just I'm a plain broom, right? You understand my point. Hiring managers are the same way. In fact, you do the same thing when you are applying to jobs. You do this. I tell people you do the same thing hiring managers do. Okay? You reject hiring manager jobs, you reject recruiter jobs, you say no to those jobs if those jobs do not tell you what you want to know. If it doesn't show you what you want to see, the 4 things you want to see about a job, if it doesn't answer those questions for you, you will not apply. That is you rejecting my job opening, right? That's what happens every single day. Okay? That's what you do. Now, what do I mean? Okay, so what do I mean? Well, let me explain it to you. There are 4 things as a candidate when you are looking to either switch jobs or get a new job or join a team. There's 4 things that you want to know, questions that you want answered before you make a decision to click on that job, click apply on that job. There's 4 things you want to know. Now, I know this as a recruiter because 30 years ago, you told me this. So I started changing my job postings to answer these 4 questions for you so you can apply faster, right? If these 4 things are not present on a job board, you will not apply. Okay? It's not going to happen. You ever walk past a company like, I don't know, in a mall or strip mall or something, and it says now hiring, what's the first thing you think? What are they hiring for? Right? Now hiring, I need a job, but what are they hiring for? So that's how you are with job postings. The job posting must answer these 4 questions for you. Number 1, you want to know, if you see a job posting, you see the job title, right? You're familiar with the job title, but there are still 4 things you don't know that will make you either apply or not apply. Number 1, I see the job title, but what is this job doing? The actual work, right? That's what you want to know. The second thing you want to know is, where is this job located? Like, is it 3 hours from my house one way? Because if it is, I'm not going to apply to this job because I'm not driving 3 hours one way for anyone, right? The third thing you want to know is, okay, I see the job, what it does. I like that. I see where it's located. It's close to where I live. The third thing is, how much does this job pay, right? Because if the position is not paying what you think you're worth, if it is not paying what you want to make, you're not going to apply to the job. Okay. And the last thing you want to know is, what are my chances for getting this job if I do click apply? Like, are they going to call me back? And that speaks to how many jobs are actually open and how long has this job been open, right? So if you see a job, everything is perfect, but the job has been open for 300 days, you're not going to apply. Now, a lot of recruiters and hiring managers, they don't do job postings like this anymore. I do it 100% of the time. In fact, I tell hiring managers, you are not going to get the maximum number of candidates applying to your jobs if it is not written this way. And this is why, right? You got to answer their questions. You have to tell them what they want to know, or they're not going to apply. So you're not going to get a chance to interview great people if you don't tell them what they want to know. So tell them. So I put those 4 things in every job description. So the first thing you see is, this is what the job's doing, this is where it's located, this is how much it pays, this is how many jobs are open. Every job posting, right? Now, the reason why I do that is because I want to maximize the number of candidates that we get, which means I get to pick who I want to interview with the hiring manager, top candidates, which means we get better hires, which means you stay longer in the company. Okay? So, a lot of companies make this mistake. Have you ever seen a job posting? I'll give you an example. I spoke to a client yesterday in a one-on-one, and this is for a VP job, a VP of operations, and she could do the work. And so I said to her, do you have a copy of the job description? And she was like, well, yeah, it was posted, but so I found it, right? I told her I know how to find it. I found it. And I asked this question: do you know what they want you to do? She says, not really. Right? Okay. I know what kind of company it is. I know what a VP of operations does. But do you know? No, I don't know. I'm not clear on what they want me to do. Okay, I don't even know why you're interviewing. Right? Then I asked her, do you know what the pay range is for this position? She says, that wasn't posted. I don't know. So I found it. I said, okay, let me find it. You got to know these things before you go. And I said, is it in an area that you're willing to commute from? She says, yeah, it's hybrid. So I can go to the office. So I can, okay, that's good. Okay. You already have the interview. That's great. So once I explained to her what she would be doing and how much it pays, she knows where it's located, she has the interview, she became a lot more interested in the job, because you have to know that before you apply. Okay. So hiring managers are the same way about your resume. They're the same way. You must, they're asking themselves 3 questions about you before they decide to interview you. 3 questions. And if you do not immediately answer those 3 questions, right, they're not going to call you. So if you are not getting phone calls, it is because your resume does not answer their questions. What are those 3 questions? Here they go. Okay, we're at 1.5K likes. Keep tapping the screen until we get to 5,000. All right. So if you tap the screen for 10 seconds, that's about 40 likes. That's 100 people in the room. We'll be at 55, 6,000 that quick. So just tap it 40 times. Just commit to tapping it 40 times. All right, check this out. So here are those 3 things. Write it down. Thing number 1. They want to know the moment they pick up your resume and they're looking at it. They want to know, what do you do? Now, when I say what do you do, I am not talking about your formal job title. That's not what I'm saying. Not what do you do in terms of your job title. What do you do in terms of the function of your work? Like, I'm a recruiter. I'm at the VP level, but I'm a recruiter, right? So recruiting is the function. So when someone is trying to hire at my level, they want to know that I'm an expert recruiter. Because if I'm managing recruiting managers or directors who are managing a team of recruiters, I got to know about recruiting. I got to know about how to find you. Okay? So yes, email me a copy of your resume if you want me to do your review your resume for free. Email it to daniel@dscds.com. 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 So they want to know, what do you do, sir? What do you do, ma'am? Okay, so if you're a CFO, you manage accounting and finance. If you're APAR, you do accounts payables, accounts receivables. If you're in sales, you do sales. Okay, I don't care what level you're at. The function, they want to know, what does this person do? I need somebody to oversee sales. So does this person do sales? Even though they may be a director or a VP of sales or a channel sales manager, whatever, they want to know, do you know how to prospect, present, close, and serve clients? They want to know that, right? And do you know how to manage people doing the exact same thing? So the function of what you do is what they're interested in, not your job title. Okay. And the second thing they want to know is, how long have you done this work? How long have you been solving this problem for other people? Now, why is this important? Because of time. Everybody knows, all hiring managers know, that candidates fall into 3 categories. Either you're entry level, mid level, or senior level. Entry level simply means 0 to 4 years, and you will need to be trained. So we know we have to take the extra time to train you. If I hire an entry level recruiter, I know it's going to take them 6 months to get my system. Right? I know it. So I have to take that extra time. I have to meet with that person every single week, maybe sit side by side with that person, show them all of the tips and tricks of how recruiting works. I know that. Got to sit with them because they're not going to immediately be able to come in and do exactly. I got to teach them how to interview. What questions are we asking candidates? Why are we asking those candidates? How do we position people's resumes? How do we communicate with hiring managers? How do you work in applicant tracking? All of that. I got to teach them. It takes me time, right? So they want to know how long you've done it. 0 to 4 years meaning you're entry level. 5 to 9 years mean you're mid level. You're going to need some training, but you're not going to need much. But we are not comfortable giving you the whole thing right off the bat. Okay. But if you have 10 or more years, that means we believe you're senior level, right? And I can give you the whole thing. Like whenever I go work for a company, they give me the entire recruiting department. No, they just tell me, Dan, we need to hire 2,000 people a year. These are the types of people, these are the managers you need to work with. Just get with these directors, leaders, managers, whatever, and get it done. And that's what I do. I start at the top. I meet at the directors, tell me what your department looks like, what that looks like, what challenges have you had, and we get to work based on that. No one has to walk with me. I don't need it. Tell me. Okay, I know exactly what to do. Tell me the outcome you want from a recruiting perspective. Because I have more than 10 years experience, 36. So if you're 36, if you have more than 10 years experience, you are a senior level professional. No one needs to train you. Okay? And so that's what they want to know. How long have you done it? I see hundreds of resumes every single day. And I can tell you, people do not put that on their resume. I don't know why. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get a hiring manager to look through your resume to see it. And they're not going to do that. They're not going to look. No one's going to count the years. It's not going to happen. Okay? Well, Dan, why? I submitted my resume. Why? Because it takes them too much time. And they believe you are a waste of their time. It's a waste of their time if they look and it's not there. They're wasting their time. That's just it. You do the same thing when it comes to applying to jobs. You don't apply because you think you're wasting your time. I know that as a recruiter. And I tell every hiring manager that. They're going to think they're wasting their time. You're not going to get people to apply to this job because you're not telling them what they want to know. Tell them what they want to know. Tell the hiring manager what they want to know. If you want to be picked, if you want to be selected, if you want to get the interview fast. So what you do, the function of your work, how long you've done it, the number of years, and this third thing, almost every person's resume that I see, I would say this is the truth. Probably 2 or 3 out of every 100 resumes that I look at have this. The rest of you, it's not on your resume. And it's the reason why no one's calling you. They want to know, how good are you at doing it? Now, what do I mean? Percentages, numbers, revenue generated, cost saved, percentages. They want to know, how many boxes have you thrown? How many people have you been able to get interviewed and hired? How much revenue have you been able to manage for a company if you're in finance? How many clients have you been able to take care of if you're an account manager? If you're human resources or payroll, how many people have you been able to process payroll for every 2 weeks? That's what they want to know. The how much. Almost every resume I look at, people are missing that. That is probably the most important thing on your resume. Now, why is that? I had a client that I talked to who manages data centers, but the biggest data center he managed was 40,000 square feet. And he went to interview with 2 global data centers for companies that are global. One of those data centers was 900,000 square feet. The other one was 1.5 million square feet. He did not get the job. And I told him, that's because you don't have, they don't think you can handle, like, we're talking about 20 times larger than what you manage. And their concern is you haven't managed that big a center before. It is important. There's so many companies that hire with recruiting in high volume because there are so few of us who know how to effectively hire multi-thousands of people every single year effectively, right? At all levels. You have to know how to attract the attention of hiring managers, write ads, the whole 9 yards, and interview and pick people and all that good stuff, right? But if I don't tell them that I know how to hire 4,000 to 6,000 people per year for medium to large companies every single year, they are not going to know. They're wondering if I can really help them. Okay? You have to know this. And if you don't know this, you're not going to create a resume that shows this. And you're going to be submitting your resume and no one's going to call you and you are not going to know why. This is why your phone is not ringing. This is why you are getting rejection letters left and right. This is why you are struggling to get a job interview. because the most important thing on your resume is not your education. It is not your previous experience. It's not that. Clients ask me all the time, should I put my master's degree on there? I said, yeah, if the hiring manager think it's something they can use. Should I put PhD in my job in my name? Yeah, if the hiring manager thinks it's something they can use. If they don't think it's something they can use, it's just letters on a page. They don't care. They're trying to understand, can you help them? You understand? Okay? Do you understand? I'm trying to get the world to understand. They don't care anything about you when they look at your resume. They're trying to make a decision about whether you can help them. So if you do not commit to showing them what they want to see, no one is going to call you. So if you want me to review your resume for free, right? Email me, daniel@dscds.com. I will only review 100 people's resumes for free today. Free. So don't send it. Okay? Email it to me. When I reply, I will tell you this is missing. Add this. Take this out. I will give it a grade. Now, people ask me, do you do? Yes, I do resumes. There is an option in there for me to do it for you, but you don't have to use me. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. If you want me to do it, then it'll be there, but you don't have to. Okay? Here's the deal. Email me and I will look at your resume for free. Okay? All right. What else is important about the resume? Now that you've shown the hiring manager what you do, how good you are doing, and how long you've done it, and they are convinced, okay, I think this person is a fit, they're going to look further in your resume for proof and evidence of actual value. Okay? Now, what is value? Value is determined by the hiring manager, what problem they want someone to solve. Okay? So I can say I am a high volume recruiter, and my captivating headline says this. This is the first three things everybody sees when they look at my resume, LinkedIn profile. Whenever they see anything about me, this is what they see. I am a senior talent acquisition and recruiting leader with 35 years experience, hiring 4,000 to 6,000 people a year for medium and large companies in the US. That's what they see. Now that they see that, the next thing they want to know is, where have you done this at? So let me take a look at and see if I can see where you've done it at, so I can, look at your value. Okay? So they're not going to look through your work history to find that out. It's another mistake people make with their resume. We will not look at your work history to determine your value. We're not doing it. Takes too much time. So, if you don't show this to them, they rip it up. They don't believe you. Okay, so what should you show them? Right underneath your captivating headline showing those three things that I talked about, you must list the top 10 things you've done in your career that show your proof of value. I call it a summary of accomplishments. I'm going to tell you how I know this too, because it was happening to me as a recruiter, working on a team with hiring managers that I thought I was properly supporting. And they were telling me no. Okay. So I tell people, take the top 10 things you've done in your career and list it out as a summary of accomplishments. And it must have percentages, numbers, dollar amounts, whatever those things are. Okay. And then right beneath that, it must be your areas of expertise, those things that you can do so good that you can do them with your eyes closed and your hands tied behind your back. Applicant tracking system management, job board management, salary positioning, job description creation, large team management, customer service call center. I can build out customer service call centers 1,000 at a time, 1,000 people at a time. Okay, I can hire every type of position in on the planet: technical, medical, accounting, finance, law. I don't care, right? So all of those things must be listed to show the hiring manager. Now, what is the hiring manager looking for? See, the hiring manager has in their mind, okay, I need someone to do this specific thing. Has this person done it? So what I just described to you is your first page. That's the first page of your resume. Okay? If the first page is not right, no one is looking further. They're not going to even look at your work history. And I'm going to tell you why they do it. So they're going to take your resume, right? They're going to rip it up, throw it in the trash can, and they're going to move on to the next person. So why do they do that? Because when we are looking in the applicant tracking system and we see that there's 250 applications, we think we have options. Now, the truth is we don't, but hiring managers who don't look at it as many candidates as I do, they think they have more options than they do. Okay? So they move on. And listen to this funny thing. I think this is funny from hiring managers. When they run out of applicants who do not show them what they want to see, they come to my office and say, can you repost the position to get more candidates? So have you ever seen, type yes in the chat, you applied to a job, you were rejected from the job closes, and then a few days later they open it back up. Type yes in the chat if you've ever seen that happen. Yes, that's why they're doing it. Purple Orchard, yes. AM, yes. That's why we do. That's why hiring managers do it. They are reposting that position for two primary reasons. Number one, they're trying to refresh the post to get it back up to the top of the job board. That's number one. And number two, the first group of people that they interviewed, they didn't find what they wanted. So they are thinking if they make some adjustments to the job description, other people will apply and they'll get what they're looking for. That doesn't even work. The reason why you didn't get what you wanted in the first place is because you never told the right candidates what they wanted to see, so they never applied. Likewise, the reason why you are not getting the job interview and they are closing the position or sending you rejection letters without even calling you and you know you can do the job is because you are not showing the hiring manager what they want to see. It is that simple. Okay? That's it. Your resume shows the hiring manager, it's supposed to show the hiring manager exactly what they want to see, or they're going to rip it up and throw it in the trash can. If that's happening to you and you want to change it, email me a copy of your resume. I'll review it for free and tell you what to change. Why? So you can get more interviews that lead to jobs that pay you more money. You're not going to get an interview if you keep using that same resume that is not working. You can apply to 20,000 jobs. I don't care. It's not going to change. How do I know this? Years ago, and I see you guys are sending me your resume, so thank you. So, Demisha, Bob, Clarissa, Renee, John, William, Ismail, Elisa, Chantel, I see you guys have sent your resume. I could take another 85 people. If you email me a copy of your resume, I'll review it for free today. I'm gonna cut it off. Thanks, Janet. I see yours. Ariana, I see yours. Michelle, I see yours. I'm gonna cut it off at that. Okay, so it won't happen today. I'm telling you. So 100 people, just email me. All right, check this out. How do I know it? Many years ago, over 25 years ago, I was working as a senior recruiter in a call center. Right, I think it was 1,000 seats. And I was the only recruiter in HR, the only one managing recruiting for this call center. So I would sit with the hiring manager when they told me they need to hire people for a class. We would do it 20 to 25 people at a time. I would interview. They would tell me what they wanted. I would ask questions. I would ask, this is a question that I've always been asking. I would say to the hiring manager, okay, so you told me what you want. No candidate is perfect. I need to know what your deal breakers are. In other words, if they don't have this, you don't even want to talk to them. But if they do have this, you do want to talk to them. And they were like, yes. I said, okay, great. So I've written all this stuff down. I know what they want, right? So you would apply to the job. I would post the job. You'd apply to it. I would have a conversation with you, a pre-screen interview with you. And I would be like, what? You are perfect, right? That's what I would be saying to myself. Like, I'm licking my chops. I can't wait to show this hiring manager this person. She is perfect. He is perfect. They live close. They live 15 minutes from the call center. The pay is perfect. Their experience is perfect. And then I would take that resume that you emailed to me that we just discussed, and I would send it to the hiring manager, and they would say, no thanks. I don't want to talk to that person. I would be like, what? Wait, what? What are you talking about? I just sat in a meeting with you last week. You told me what you wanted. I just brought to you what you wanted. And you told me, no, what's wrong? That was happening over and over and over again. So I would submit your resume. They would say no. Submit your resume. They would say no. 2 out of every 10 people they would take. That was one of the most frustrating times in my career. I couldn't figure it out. I had no idea. I was going to quit this job. In fact, I thought that the reason why they were telling me no is because they didn't like me as a person. That's what I thought. They didn't like me. So they were saying no to the candidates I was submitting because they didn't like Daniel. Okay? And I would beat my head up against the wall to try to figure it out. So this director of mine said, hey, why don't you send them an email, like a survey, and ask them what they're looking for? And I told her, I said to her, okay. I mean, I asked them what they want. She says, just send the email. And I got really specific. So, okay, what are you looking for? Like, why are you saying no? These people have it. And they said this, listen, Daniel, I hear what you're saying about them, but I don't see it. And I said, what do you mean you don't see it? It's right here. And they were telling me, well, this is what I want to see. That's what I want to see. And once a light bulb went off, I was like, oh, what? That changed everything for me. So once I learned, oh, they're looking for this size, color, fit, whatever that looks like, right? I'm just using that as an example. They're looking for these specific things to say, yes, they want to interview this person. So I'm going to try something. This is what I did. I started doing immediately the next day. I started interviewing people who I knew were a fit. And then you would send me your resume, right? It wasn't positioned correctly. Then I would say this to you. I would say, okay, you are perfect for this job. So I'm going to get you this interview. And you would get all excited. Yes. And then I would say to you, before I submit you, though, wait. Before I submit you, I'm going to change your resume. I'm going to rework your resume. Because if I send your resume to the hiring manager like this, they're not going to want to talk to you. Okay? Even though you can do the job, there are certain things they want to see. And then I would say, is that okay? And you would be like, yes. So I would rework your resume and send it back to you. And then I will call you and say, hey, did you see your resume? Tell me what you think. Is everything correct? And you would be like, yeah, wow, yes. And I said, okay, this is what the hiring manager wants to know about you. So I'm going to send it to them now. Literally, within hours or a day of submitting that person's resume, I would get an interview scheduled. I went from 8 out of 10 candidates being rejected to 8 out of 10 candidates actually getting interviews. My acceptance rate went from 20% to 80%. And I was getting 3 to 4 out of every 5 applicants was getting hired. Just because there's nothing different about you as a person, as a professional, your ability to solve the problem for a hiring manager, nothing changed there. You're still the same person, right? So what changed? Your resume. That's the only thing that changed. So I've been doing this same thing for over 25 years. I never submit a resume without reworking it because I know so hiring managers are going to say no. So people ask me, even in the organizations I work for, how is it you're getting so many people hired? I know what the hiring manager wants to see when it comes to interviewing. I know what they want to hear. So I tell every candidate what to say. And I tell every candidate what their resume should look like. I know. That's why. Now I don't tell them that. I flex a little bit and be like, try to be humble. Oh yeah, well, I'm just working hard. Yep. No, I'm working smart. You told me what you wanted. I'm going to show you what you want. You told me what you want to hear. I'm going to tell them to say what you want to hear so they can get the job, so they can start doing the work. Like, why are we playing all these games, right? Well, and it's not necessarily games. Hiring managers, they have preferences. That's what they want. Okay, cool. Then just tell me what you want. I will find what you want, and I'll give you what you want so the person can get hired. Now, who benefits? They benefit because they get a hire. You benefit because you get a job making more than you've ever made, and you get to take care of you and your family. That's what this whole thing is about, right? That's what I care about. I want you to get to work so you can take care of your family and yourself and live the life you've always dreamed of. So that's your resume. So if you don't fix your resume, nothing's going to change. Okay, we're at 6,000 likes. Tap the screen. Tap the screen until we get to 10,000. Everybody, really quickly, just tap the screen. It ain't going to take long. It'll take us like 30 seconds to get to 10,000. We're just telling the algorithm, if whoever wants to know how to get a job in the next 30 days, they can come over here. All right, now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is job searching. Okay, so I told you, now I want you to listen to me because I'm going to say this until I am blue, black in the face. I need you to understand this. I told you that your resume is a marketing document. It is not just a document that shows your work history, education, and background. It's a marketing document. I want you to think about it differently. So when you think about marketing or advertising, volume is king. The more people you show your resume to, the more opportunities you'll have to interview. And the more opportunities you have to interview, the more jobs you'll be able to get. It puts you in complete control. Okay. So I want you to think about your resume like it's a social media post or a TV ad or a billboard or something. I want you to think about it from that perspective. Stop thinking about it like I'm filling out an application and showing my interest. No, you have to market yourself. So I want you. I'm driving this point home for a reason, because now that we're talking about jobs, application, applying for jobs, I want you to look at it differently. Okay. So right now on LinkedIn, there's 5.4 million jobs posted, about the same amount or a little bit less on ZipRecruiter and Indeed.com. So there are jobs open. The issue that you're having is you're not applying to enough jobs the right way. And the reason why you're not applying to enough jobs is because you don't think that there's any jobs open. And the reason why you don't think there's any jobs open because you're not searching for jobs the right way. You don't search for jobs like recruiters search for you. Okay, so I'm a recruiter. I'm a master at finding you. That's what I am very good at. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how to change what you're doing to search for jobs so you can get more opportunities to apply to faster. I'm going to show you how to spend 30 minutes a day applying to 90 to 100 jobs. 30 minutes. You can get up in the morning and you can grab your coffee, right? And you can apply to 100 jobs in 30 minutes and go on about your business. And when you come back, you're going to see people who have emailed you and says, I want to interview. 30 minutes a day. Listen to me, 30 minutes a day. When I recruit, the way I'm talking about right now, I reach out to 4,000 candidates in 40 minutes. Okay, so listen to me. This is how you do it. Please listen. I have a client on my fast track program. His name is Ron. In fact, I'm meeting with Ron right after this live. Okay. He was making the same mistake. Ron is a senior sales account manager, 30 years experience. He had been searching for a job for 8 months and couldn't find a job. He not complained, but he said to me, Dan, there are no jobs open. Listen, it was scary. Severance is running out. Unemployment is running out. The money is drying up. The bills are continuing to come. And he was saying, man, I can't find a job. Like, no one wants to hire me. Am I too old? No. I was thinking to myself, I didn't say this to him, I had to show him. You just don't know how to look for a job. Everybody who comes to me with that problem, that's the issue. You cannot tell me there are no jobs open. I can show you right now, it's 5.5 million jobs on LinkedIn right now. We're like, what's your problem? Your problem is you don't know how to find the jobs like I know how to find the jobs. So when a recruiter, likewise, says to me, well, Dan, we don't have enough applicants for this job. I said, no, it's not that we don't have enough applicants. You just don't know how to find the candidates. You're searching for candidates wrong. So when I train my team, I'm saying, stop searching like this. Start searching like this. And you'll see all of these candidates all of a sudden now they're here. Okay, so let me explain to you what the deal is. I am a master at LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Indeed.com. Okay, I've been working with these job boards forever. Okay, and they all work the exact same way. All right, you upload your resume into the job board and create a profile. Your information is there and it's searchable. I upload a job, right? And it's searchable. The question is, how do you search for it? This is what you're doing. And this is what you need to stop doing today. When you go to LinkedIn, and when Ron went to LinkedIn, Ron put in his job title, his previous job title. That's what he searched for. His previous job title. Okay? And when he clicked search, we did a search. We were doing a Zoom screen share. He searched on LinkedIn. They have 5.4 million jobs. He only came up with 5,400 jobs. 5,400. And then I said, I don't want you to filter by anything else. And then I told him, half of these jobs are closed. They're not even open. So it's really not 54, it's like 2,700. He says, what do you mean? I said, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com, they do not pull down jobs until 30 days after, 60 days after those jobs have been closed. They don't pull them down off of their sites. Why do they do that, Dan? I don't know. They just don't. They don't pull them down. They're up there for 30 to 60 days. And then they pull it down, which is why when you apply to this job, you get an immediate rejection because we've set in the applicant tracking system an automated message that bounces back to you when you send that application. That's why you get an immediate rejection. He's like, oh, yeah, nobody looked at your resume. You came to the applicant tracking system, nothing is open, it's closed, so you get a rejection. We didn't look at your resume. I didn't know you applied to a job, and your information is not in my system. Okay? Still on LinkedIn. It didn't come to me. It's not in my system if the position is closed. So I said, that's the first problem. You're searching wrong. And I said, now we're going to filter based on your level of expertise. And we started filtering all of the filters. We ended up with 18 jobs. I said, man, you're never going to find a job if you don't change this. You're not. It's not going to happen. He says, what do I need to do? I said, what you need to do is change the way you search for jobs. You have to search for jobs based on the single word job function, not your total job title. So I said, type in your job title again. He did. Senior, sales account manager. And I said, I want you to take these words out and I want you to leave this word in. What word do we leave in? We left in the word sales. That's it. Because that's the function of the work. And then I said, press enter. 440,000 jobs came back in that search. 440,000. Okay, when he did it, it was 5,400. When I did it, it was 440,000. Now remember, half of those jobs are closed already. So we filtered it by jobs that have been posted within the last 30 days. It got down to 220,000, something like that, right? 200,000. Now we're at 200,000. We can start filtering by your level of expertise. He wanted to make 120 to 160. We filtered by that. We filtered it by his level, senior, director, VP level. We filtered it by that and everything else. And I think we got down to 45,000 jobs, something like that, right? Then I said to him, I'm going to show you the magic trick to apply to a bunch of jobs, to market yourself to a bunch of jobs in seconds. I said, I want you to go and toggle on easy apply. See, as a recruiter, when we want to try to hire someone fast, we want to get a bunch of applications, we click easy apply in our applicant tracking system. Okay, we click that option. So when he clicked easy apply, I think we got down to 34, 37,000. I said, now this is considered a premium search. You don't have to look at job descriptions. You know it's exactly what you want. So I said, I want you to apply to 15 jobs right now. He did that. It took him 5 minutes. Okay, I said, you could apply to 30 jobs in 10 minutes on LinkedIn. You could do the exact same thing on ZipRecruiter and the same thing on Indeed.com. You could do the same thing. That's 90 jobs in 30 minutes. You just introduce yourself, is what I told him. You just introduce yourself, market it yourself through the application process to 90 hiring managers. 90. I said, you're going to do that every single day for 30 days straight. So the next 7 days, you're going to apply to 630 jobs. No, you're going to market yourself through the application process to 630 jobs. It's going to take you 30 minutes a day. Do you have 30 minutes a day? Yes, of course. What was the result? Week 1, he didn't get anybody to call him back. Week 2, he had 4 interviews. Week 3, he had 2 final interviews, and 2 Fridays ago, he got 2 offers. 8 months. Ron was looking for a job. 8 months. He couldn't find a job. Now he's sitting on 2 offers. And in fact, the reason why I'm meeting with him after this is because he has a 3rd offer on the table I got to talk to him about. Okay? You're searching for jobs wrong. When recruiters are trying to find candidates, we do not search by job title. We search by single word job function. Is this person a recruiter? Do they do sales? Are they in finance? Are they a nurse? We don't type in pediatric registered nurse. We don't type in behavioral analyst, right? We don't do that. We type in analyst, and then we sort by the industry and all those things, and that brings us the maximum search back. Okay? So that's how you search for jobs. Remember, none of this matters if you don't have a resume that attracts the attention of hiring managers and recruiters. So I told Ron, before you started applying, we had to fix your resume. We had to fix your LinkedIn profile, because you can click apply all day, but when your resume get to the hiring manager and they see it, they're not going to want to talk to you anyway. So that was another problem he had. So if you want me to review your resume for free and tell you what to fix, email it to me. I'll look at it for free. I can take another like 65 resumes, 65 people. If you want me to review your resume for free, I'll review it for free. Keep tapping the screen. We're at 12.7. You guys are doing great. Let's get to 15,000. Tap the screen until we get to 15,000, please. Thank you. All right. So how do you search for jobs? You use a single word job function, and then you filter by everything else. And that's what I teach people show people on my Fast Track program. Like, a lot of people send me messages and ask about the Fast Track program. It is the program that I am your recruiter for 30 days. And I walk you through every step. I prep you for every interview. We do your resume. We help you with your offer. I do all of that. We meet once a week. I prep you for every interview, all of that over 30 days, right? if you're interested in that and you want to know more about it, there's two things. You go to my website, dscds.com, or you can DM me the word fast track, or email me the word fast track, and I'll tell you what it looks like. You don't have to do it. It's up to you, right? If you follow what I'm saying, you can find a job. If you want me to help you find those jobs and get a job, I can help you on my fast track program. It's my 30-day VIP program that I help hundreds of people get jobs every single month. Okay, all right. So now that you know how to find jobs, and Ron started getting interviews, this is why I prep everybody for an interview, because this is where so many people blow it. You get a job interview. You've done all that work with your resume. You now know how to search for jobs. Now you get an interview, and you get in an interview, and after the first question, you're out. I'm going to tell you why. Because you don't know what the job interview is about. You think the job interview is about you selling your expertise and showing a hiring manager how good you are and all that good stuff. So Tasha, Charmaine, Crystal, Oceana, Jefferson, Trina, Melissa, Frida, Binkala, I see your resume and I'll review it for free today. Okay? I'm going to reply to it today. All right? So, my sales shop, Fast Track, just email me. Email me Fast Track or DM me Fast Track on this form, and I'll send you the information for the Fast Track program, and you can look at it and tell me if it's something you're interested in. I only take so many people per month, by the way, because it takes a lot of time for me to help the people that I help. So it's very limited number of people. Once Fast Track fills up, you got to wait till the next month. The next Fast Track starts this coming Monday, the April Fast Track. All right. So, job interviewing. What is the job interview about? I'm going to tell you what it's not about. It is not about you talking about your previous experience, education, and background. It's not about that. Okay? You should never talk about your previous jobs when you interview. Never, ever. Why? We have your resume. We already know about your previous jobs. That's not what the job interview is about. So this is how I explain it so everyone understands. Like when I'm talking to candidates, I'll say this. So type in the chat, yes or no. Let's say I come to your city and you and I are having lunch, right? And I get a call and it's an emergency. And I say to you, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I have to leave. I got an emergency. Can I borrow your car? What's your answer? Type it in the chat, yes or no. Will you let me borrow your car? What's your answer? Right. Mimi says no. Tove says nope. Renee, nope. Melissa, nope. Delta Romeo, nope. No, you're not going to let me borrow your car. I'm not going to let you borrow mine either. Why? Why am I not going to let you borrow my car? Because I don't know you. And if you wreck my car, right? Bree says no. If you wreck my car, the only person that's hurt by that is me and my family. Because I need my car, right? Now, I'll take you where you want to go, but you're not driving my car. I don't care who you are, right? Well, hiring managers, when they interview you, they are thinking the same thing. And most candidates don't understand that. They're saying this, I'll give you this job, but before I give you this job, I don't know you. Who are you? I see what you've done, but who are you? I don't know you. So when you go in the interview and you start talking about your skill, experience, education, and background and all the things you've done, it's over for you. You might as well get up and walk out of that interview because no one's going to give you a job. You blew it. You blew it. Because that's not what, when they're trying to find out about you. Can they trust you? Are you reliable? Are you dependable? You blew it. You went in and talked about all of this crazy stuff, all of the things you've done for Rob and Bobby and Susan and Kathy and on this team. They don't care about that. Let's, like the car scenario. They don't care about who else let you borrow their car. They're not gonna let you borrow their car. No, 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 no. I don't care who. They may have trusted you, but I don't know you well enough to trust you yet. So no, you cannot borrow my car. No, I'm not giving you this job. And I don't care how much you tell me you done for somebody else. I don't care. I'm not giving you this job because I have been entrusted to hire someone to do this job. And if I make the wrong call, my job is on the line. That's what they're thinking, right? So the job interview is about getting to know you. Can I trust you, depend on you, and rely on you? So when they ask you interview questions, they're asking interview questions to try to uncover that, right? And there are 3 non-behavior based questions you are going to get, and then 3 behavior based questions. I see you guys are sending me your resume. Marisa, Tennille, Tashay, thank you guys for sending your resume. If you want me to review your resume for free, email it to me. It's daniel@dscds.com. 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 We're at 16,000 likes. Thank you guys. Let's get to 20,000. Just keep tapping the screen while you're listening. All right. So, Steve, I see yours as well. Thank you. So, check this out. So, the interview, they're going to ask you 3 non-behavior based questions and 3 behavior based questions. Those non-behavior based questions are designed to see, 1, are you focused? Number 2, are you a risk? And number 3, they're trying to uncover your underlying motivation for wanting to do the job, right? First question they're going to ask you right out the gate. Tell me yes or no if you've ever gotten this question. Thank you for coming for the interview. Tell me about yourself. Ever got that question? Type yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that question. Tell me about yourself. Every hiring manager asks it. Quilla, Chai, everybody says yes. Mimi, yes. Mixhale, yes. Delta, yes. Melissa, yes. Tara, yes. Everybody asks you. What are they asking? What are they trying to see? Link, yes. Cross, yes. What are they trying to see? Is this person focused? It's an icebreaker. So the purpose of an icebreaker is to try to make everybody feel comfortable, right? But if you start off by rambling off all of your skill, experience, education, and background, all the things that you've done, it's over. You might as well get up and walk out of the interview. You're not going to get that job. So you don't ramble. You answer that question in 15 seconds. How do you answer it? You must give them your 4 best character traits: hardworking, committed, loyal, team player, whatever that is, right? Those 4 character traits. And then at the end, you say, and I'm someone you never have to worry about whether this job is going to get done or not. So when somebody says, Daniel, tell me about yourself, remember, they're just trying to break the ice and they're trying to see if you're focused. Okay. I simply say, well, thank you so much for the question. I appreciate you having me. Here's what you need to know about me. I'm a hardworking, committed, loyal team player who values team success far above individual success. And I'm someone you will never, ever have to worry about whether this job is going to get done or not. Ever. That's what you need to know about me. And then I sit back in my seat. That's it. Right? That's how I answer it. And that's how you should answer it. And that's how I tell everybody on the fast track they should answer it every single time. So now they're like, oh, okay, now they can go into the next question. What's the next question? Tell me if you've ever gotten this question before. So we're looking at your resume, right? We know that you're either working or you're not working. Let's say you are working, right? Let's say you have a job. We're going to ask you, why are you looking to leave your current job? What's going on? Type yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that. Why are you looking to leave your current job? Or why did you leave your last job, right? Everybody, Tara, yes. Quilla, yes. Purple Orchard, yes. Severo, yes. Chef, Reese, everybody saying yes? Links, yes. Everybody asked that. Why are we doing that? We're trying to assess risk. So if you say this, listen. Well, I'm looking to leave my last job, looking to leave my current job because I'm looking for growth, compensation, Kimmy. Nope, you're too risky. If you say something like, I'm looking for more opportunity. Nope. I'm looking for a better team to join. Nope. I'm looking for more money. Nope. I'm looking for a place to grow. All of those things, you're too risky. Why do I say that? Because if you say that about the reason why you're leaving this job, the moment another job comes along that offers the same exact thing, you're going to leave my job, right? Which means the hiring manager, I'm going to be back in the same situation trying to hire somebody again. So that motivation is not good for me. You are too risky. If I hire you, I'm taking a chance that when another job comes along, you're going to lead. I talked to a guy this past week who did not understand why no one wanted to hire him. He had 6 jobs in the last 4 years. And I asked him, why did you leave these jobs? Growth, compensation, more opportunity. And then he asked me what I would consider to be, I mean, he was genuine, so I'm not going to say anything negative about his question. He says, don't hiring managers care that I am ambitious and want to grow? And I said, no, they don't. They don't care about that. They don't want to hear that you want to grow. I'm not saying that they don't want you to grow, but they're thinking about themselves. If I give you this job and something else comes along, you're going to leave me. So I'm going to be in the back in the same situation I'm in. So you're too risky. They're not going to hire you. So you never say that, ever. They just want to know that you want this job so you can help them. The next question you're going to get is, okay, now that that works, why do you want to work here? Again, we're trying to see your underlying motivation. Okay? I always tell clients, answer it, well, it's because I've done my research and you guys are the best and I want to work for the best. That's how you answer it. Right? We're trying to figure out why you want to do this. Like, what's your real reason? Right? And so if your reason is too much of an issue, they're not going to want to hire you. It's over. Like, most people's interviews are over in the first 10 minutes. The rest of it, they're just being courteous because you've answered the questions wrong. You don't know what the interview is all about. Remember that? Can I borrow your car situation? You got to always remember that when you go into an interview. Then they're going to ask you behavior-based questions. What we're trying to determine from behavior-based questions is how you would act or respond in a given situation real time, how you handle difficult people, problems, and processes in an organization. So you have to use the STAR interview answer framework to get those answers right. And I'm going to tell you a way to use the STAR interview answer framework that no one else will tell you. This is how you do it. You call out each acronym before you give the response. So you'll say, the situation was, and you will explain the situation. And then you say, my task was, you explain the task. The action I took was, and you explain the action. And the result I got was this. The reason why I tell people to answer STAR interview questions that way is because it stops you from rambling and going off on a tangent and saying things that are not relevant to the question. So you have to say, the situation was, I was dealing with a coworker and that coworker was not being cooperative on this project. My task was, you explain it. Action was, you explain it. Result was, you explain it. And once they ask you these 3 behavior-based questions to understand how you would act in a given situation real time, if you're a leader, you're going to get at least 2 more questions. One will be, what is your leadership style? Don't get fancy. I always tell clients to say, I'm all about accountability, right? My style is accountability. I hold myself accountable and to a high standard, and I hold my team accountable and to a high standard. We are going to get the job done. That's it, right? And then the last question they're going to ask you as a leader is, what would you do if you have someone on your team who is consistently, over time, consistently underperforming? What do you do? Again, don't get fancy. Okay, they're not looking for you to explain how you helped Marcus, Eric, right? They're not trying to see how you help that person, excel. So don't answer it like that. You simply say, the way I would handle it is I would follow whatever the progressive disciplinary policy of the company is. That's how you answer it. That's what they want to know. That's what every hiring manager and every HR pro wants to hear. You are going to follow the progressive disciplinary policy that has been established. Okay? Whatever that is. Thank you guys for sending your resume. I see it. Martin, Raven, Shabazz, Veronica, Coco, Renee, I see you guys have sent your resume. Thank you guys so much. I can take 32 more people. That's it. 30. Yep, 32 more people. If you send me a copy of your resume, I will review it for free today and let you know, fix this, change this, add this, subtract this. This is going to get you more interviews, which lead to more higher paying offers. All right. So now that you've had the interview, as you have an interview, the hiring manager is going to end the interview and say, okay, they're going to start talking to you about everything that's going on in the interview. Okay. You just sit there and listen. Don't respond at all. Just, yep, that makes sense. Yep. Understand. And then at the end of the interview, they're going to ask you this question. This is where a lot of people blow it. Tell me if you've ever gotten this question before. They're going to say to you, okay, that's all I have to share. Do you have any questions for me? Type yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that question. Got any questions for me? Yeah, Chef Patty, Quilla, Liz, yes. Everybody's saying yes. Why are they asking that question? Do they want you to ask questions? Zara World. No, we don't want you to ask us questions. Okay? You do not want to ask questions. Why? One, if your question is something like, what is the culture like? Why did the person leave this last job? What keeps you up at night? They're going to lie to you anyway. They're not going to tell you the truth. We're trying to get you into the organization if we like you. They're not going to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So you don't ask those questions. Now, there's only one question you should ask. By the way, you don't have to get it, but I have a guide in my store that it's titled What You Should Know Before You Go. So on my fast track program, I tell every client, these are all of the things you need to know before you get to the job. And we go over those things so they don't have to ask the question. Most of what you want to know, you can find by doing an internet search. I can show you how to do that. On the fast track program, I tell them everything they need to know so they don't have to ask questions, right? There is one question you should ask, only one, and you should ask it every single time. Now, the reason why I ask you to ask this one question is because you should never leave a job interview and not know if they're going to make you an offer. Okay? What is that question? You should simply say, thank you so much for the interview. I learned a lot. I do have one question to ask you. When would you like for me to get started? Right? Now, why do I tell you to ask this very important strategic question? Because the hiring manager is going to answer one of two ways, and it will tell you if they want to hire you and make you an offer or not. So if they say this, well, we do have several other candidates that we need to interview. And once we interview all of the candidates, then we will make a decision about who we want to get started. Type yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that response. Because guess what? If you've gotten their response, they do not want to make you an offer. They don't like you. Okay? Everybody's saying yes. 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 They don't want to hire you. And they run to my office and say, great person, not a fit for my team, find me somebody else. Okay? If they say this, okay, you say, thank you very much. I learned a lot. When would you like for me to get started? If they say, well, here are the next steps. Someone from talent acquisition, HR, reach out to you. This is what the onboarding process looks like. And we're looking to have somebody start on this day. Right? And they go through all of the details about getting you onboarded. They're going to make you an offer. Okay? You will be getting an offer. So be ready for it. If they say the first response, don't waste your time. There's nothing you could do to change their mind. You're out. Okay? It's over. Just understand that. All right. Now that you get an offer, now I'm going to talk to you how to send one email really quickly. Leave your questions in the chat if you need to. I'm going to show you how to send one email to get $2,000 to $10,000 more automatically. Okay? All right? So you get an offer. Hiring manager sends it to you. I'm going to tell you the email you need to send. Now, I do this for every candidate that I work with. So let's say the position pays 90 to 95. I am going to talk to you about 95, submitting you to the hiring manager at 95. You're going to say, yep, that works for me. So I submit you at 95. After the interview is over and the hiring manager really likes you, and they come and tell me they want to make an offer, I'll say to you, okay, when we originally talked, we talked about 95, but I'm gonna submit you. I'm gonna tell the hiring manager you want to go to 98. Are you okay with that? Of course, you're gonna tell me yes, you want to go to that. Now, there's a reason why I do it, and I'm gonna tell you in just a second. How you doing, Rosemary? So this is the reason why I do it. You see, when I am submitting you, the hiring manager doesn't know you, right? But after they interview you, they are emotionally and mentally invested in you. So going to 98,000 is not a big deal for them, right? So I go to the hiring manager and say, hey, I talked to Brad, I talked to Bobby, I talked to Brenda, and they want to accept the offer. They were asking if we're able to go to 98. Can we do that? Hiring manager, if they could make a decision right there on the spot, they would tell me, yeah, that works. Make it happen. But a lot of times they go back to their director or VP. Hey, Brenda would like to see if we can go to 98. Can I do it? The VP or the director will ask this question. Do you think they're worth it? The hiring manager immediately will say, absolutely, I do. Yes. So the VP or the director will say, okay, well, good, make it happen. They come back to me, Dan, make it happen. Then I call you and say, all right, I got you 98. If I send you this offer letter right now, email it to you, will you e-sign it and send it back to me? And you say yes, and that's how we get you more money. $1 more per hour is $2,100 a year to a company. It's $2,100 more on your salary. $2 more per hour is $4,200. $3 more per hour is $6,300. That's nothing. You think it's nothing, right? Everybody says yes. Everybody. I've been doing that for 25 years. I get people extra money every single week by doing this. You could do the same thing. You send one email. What's that email? That email should say, thank you very much for this offer. I really appreciate it. I am very excited about getting started with the team. So you're telling them you want the offer. And then you're going to say, I was wondering if the company is able to go to 98. Thanks again. I can't wait to get started. That's the email you send. That email comes back to me. I go to the hiring manager, ask that same question. The hiring manager says, yes, you just got 98. Okay. What's a good number? Anywhere from 2 to 10% more than what you're currently making is fine. Okay. More than the offer is fine. They're going to say yes to it, depending on the job, the level of expertise you have. So, what did we talk about today? We talked about resumes. None of what I told you matters if your resume is broken. I don't care how good you are. No one cares about how good you are. I'm working right now with the number one federal transportation worker on the planet in the federal government, and he's struggling to get a job. Struggling, and I'm helping him, right? He's not going to be struggling. He's not struggling anymore because he's been a client for a couple of weeks, but number one on the planet. I work with the best of the best. I work with anybody, college students, the whole 9 yards. I got a college student that I'm doing a coaching call with tomorrow, prepping him for an interview. People on my fast track program, they have been struggling, can't find a job, right? And I help them. The reason why I do that is because I'm the one that designs the higher life cycle, the whole higher life cycle. So I know exactly how it works in every company. Every company, they all do the same. Okay. So we talked about resumes. We talked about how to search for jobs and apply to 100 jobs in 30 minutes every day. Market yourself to those jobs. And then we talked about interviewing and why so many people blow it and how you can make sure that you're not blowing it. And then we just talked about higher paying offers. Here's the deal. Nothing changes in your life just because you have information. That's the beginning of it. You have the information, but if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. What do I mean? I could tell you how to fix your resume all day, but if you don't change it, you're going to still get the same rejection letters. It's not about whether you believe me or not. I don't care if you believe me or not. I know what works. That's why you see I don't argue with people in the chat. I don't. I know what works. So if you don't make a change, if I've identified something that's an issue for you and you don't make a change, nothing is going to change for you. Nothing. Okay? So I encourage you to think about making a change. If you want me to review your resume, I can take 27 more people. That's it. Tara, Toby, Kathleen, Log, Corin Achai, Martin, Raven. I have your resumes. Thank you so much. I'll review your resume for free and send you an email back today letting you know what you need to change, fix, or adjust so you can get more interviews that lead to higher paying job offers. If you have a question, leave it in the chat. I'll answer that question for you, and then we'll go from there. A plan without an action is a dream. That's right, Lonzo. Turn says this is real talk, no BS, straight to the point. Absolutely. Nothing's going to change. You can keep doing the same thing. If you apply to 5 jobs a week, you won't get hired. You got to apply to 30 to 100 jobs every day. You can think whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me. I'm telling you what works. You can think that you can ask questions in an interview and that's going to work. You can do whatever you want. It's not going to work. I'm telling you. I am inside the ropes. Information is not enough. There's a bunch of information on the internet, right? But if you don't change, if you don't do something, nothing's going to change for you. Renee, what do you say when you're leaving your current job? I just answered that. What you say is, my goals and values, they no longer align with my current company. I believe they align more here. Okay? Bree says, can you share your email address? I pinned it in the chat. It's daniel@dscds.com. daniel@dscds.com. Email it there, okay? Chai says, I wasn't here to hear you speak on applying to 100 jobs per day. The way you should apply to jobs, and you can, again, on my Fast Track program, this is what I tell people. You're going to set up the perfect search for you on the job board, and you're going to click Easy Apply, One Click Apply, or Quick Apply. It takes less than 21 seconds to send your resume for a job, right? Doing it that way. It's a perfect search. You're gonna apply to 30 jobs per day per job board. So LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Indeed.com. That's 30 jobs per day. That's 90 jobs per day. You're gonna do it 7 days a week. Yes, Saturday. Yes, Sunday. You're gonna do it 7 days a week. That is going to get you 630 applications that you marketed your resume to. And you're going to do that every day for 30 days. That's what you're going to do. Okay? 1,800 jobs is what you're going to apply to in a month. 1,800. Yes, that's the only way you're going to get hired. Why do I have you do that? Because I know if you do that, you will have 2 to 4 job offers and you could choose whatever job you want. But if you don't do that, you're going to be like Ron. You're going to be sitting at home trying to figure out how you're going to piece things together because you don't have money coming in, even though you're supremely qualified and can do the job and made $100,000 in your career before. Nobody cares about that if you don't do it the right way. Nothing's going to change in your life if you don't change. It's not going to change. Do you hear me? Do you understand? So if you want to know if your resume is broken, email it. If you want to know about my Fast Track program, DM me or email me the word Fast Track. Email it. I'll tell you exactly what it looks like. I help people find a job, land a job, not find, land a job in 30 days or less. The average person finds a job in 22 days. I'll tell you exactly what to do. I prep you for every interview. I'll tell you exactly what the hiring manager is going to ask you, what to say, where to look, what to do. We fix your resume. We do all that for you. But nothing is going to happen if you don't. Yes, Rockstat, 1,800. It takes 30 minutes a day for you to apply to 90 jobs the way that I show people. 30 minutes. That's it. If you don't have 30 minutes, then you're not serious about getting a higher paying job. 30 minutes. You get up in the morning, 30 minutes early, sit in front of your computer or at a tablet or on your phone, and you apply the way that I said apply. That's it. And you walk away. If you're working, go to work. Wait till you come home at 5 o'clock, look at your emails, and you're going to have 5 or 6 people who says, I want to interview you. Happens every day. May not be happening in your world, but it's certainly happening in my world. If you have any questions for me, you can DM me or leave it in the chat. Can you share the email address again? Daniel@dscds.com. 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 Sounds great. I've done that before, but my question is, do most of these companies use ATS? We all use the applicant tracking system. I don't even know why you're asking that question. It's an applicant tracking system is not a system that tracks applicant in the way that most people. It is a system that allows us to keep applicants in one place. It's your application. It is all of the jobs that we post, job descriptions, everything is in the applicant tracking system. It is a centralized place that stores all of the applicant information so we can, once we hire you and click hire, it moves it over to the HRIS system, which is the Human Resources Information System that gets you onboarded, that connects you to payroll, that gets you paid and started on day one. There's nothing fancy about applicant tracking systems. Nothing. So don't everybody think, oh, what about, no, don't worry about it. Ain't that big a deal. I manage the biggest applicant tracking system on the planet. Okay. So if you want change, you got to make a choice and take action. Daniel at dscds.com. Daniel at dscds.com. Thank you guys for joining, and I will catch you on the next live. Take care.